Hi, welcome back to the channel. So in this episode it's going to be a real quick simple one, and all it is how to adjust a chain up, and I'm going to do it on the Monkey bike, but it's on all bikes. Just follow the advice, make sure you check it on Google, check your manual, make sure you've got your torque settings and you've got an understanding of what you're supposed to do, but it's dead simple, so let's crack on with this. Okay, so it's quite simple, but you're only going to need a couple of tools to get this done, and you're going to need a couple of wrenches, and you're going to need a couple of sockets, and the best thing to do to fit the socket is to actually go up to the bolt that you're going to use itself. Make sure that it's tight, and the best thing to do is always go and get the socket that's slightly lower to make sure that you know that this is the one that's going to fit. So looking at the chain currently, that is obviously well too much slack, so let's get that adjusted to the right slackness. Okay, to adjust a chain you quite simply have to do off of the swing arm these nuts at the back here, and you just loosen them, you don't take them completely off, and then to adjust it you adjust this nut that pulls back the actual mechanism itself. And quite luckily on this bike and on many bikes you've got the notches that are just here, so you can measure, and you've got the same on each side. That's what's important. With some bikes they're really good, they'll give you a little sticker telling you what the play that you should have left in the chain. On this case it's 35mm. But it's a really quick and simple job to do, so let's crack on. Socket on. All we're going to do now is just loosen this up. Nice and slack, but not completely off, just like that. And we're going to come around to the other side and do exactly the same on the other side as well. Now this nut here is slightly smaller, so we're going to have to adjust this socket. As you can see, the difference here is quite big in the difference in sizes from one side to the other. So obviously, like I said, check all of that, make sure you always go for a size smaller until you get the perfect size fitting one. Let's just adjust this one off. So that one's already done, obviously, because the other side was done, so we made sure that they're all loose. And now all we need to do now is grab the next socket and adjust these screws, pulling the entire wheel back, taking away the slack, and I'll show you how to measure. Okay, so as you can see, we're on 3 notches away. Be exactly the same on the other side. All I'm going to do is adjust it 1/4 of a notch, because it's such a small bike and a small chain. That's probably going to be plenty, but we can keep readjusting if we need to. A bigger bike, I'd say between 1/4 and 1/2 a notch at a time, and check. It's the best way to do it because it takes you a little bit longer. It's better than overstretching the chain. Here we go. Okay, that's that side. And on the other side, again, we're just going to go that 1/4 of a notch. That's it. So we're looking at 3.5mm. Now the way to do it is to go again off of the frame, and then you're going to go up and you're going to pull it down, and I can see perfectly there, that's the 3.5mm mark that we're after. So to the top, and then you pull it down, and I can see it's got 3.5mm, so that's perfectly adjusted. So all that's left to do now is tighten this up to make sure it's nice and tight. Set. Just double check to make sure this side's tight as well. Then it is, and that's nice and tight. Okay, so it literally is that simple to tighten a chain. It is literally a couple of sockets and make sure you adjust it properly. Now I'm lucky to have obviously the chain tension sticker on to tell me what it needs to be, but I'd advise you now to always check your manual. Make sure that you get your torque settings, use a torque wrench to make sure you do it properly. If you haven't got one, obviously make sure it's tight. Don't just do it hand tight, make sure it's tight. And that's the biggest thing you can do. Check Google to make sure you got the right measurements if you haven't got any of those things. But it's dead easy to do, dead simple to do, and it saves you another trip to the garage. So if you like that, it's another easy tip, something that you can do at home while you're in isolation. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. See you next time. Take care. Bye bye.